Welcome to Intentional Academy Live, Episode 4. I'm Tony Farrar. I'm joined by Justin Thomas and Nicole Farrar. We're here to help you squeeze every last drop of value out of your education. We're going to show you how to win through the power of intentional learning, no matter where you are in life. We're here to help you manage your time, get control of your money, and launch your dream career. Today I'm going to launch right into a little bit of a rant, and then we have a very special announcement from Justin. And then, as always, we're going to get to the questions that you guys have asked as members of the intentional community. So yesterday, I got sucked into a time sink. And I think you know what I mean. This has probably happened to you, where you begin a new project and you've got this idea of what it's going to look like when it's done, and you've even got an idea of how long you have to do it. But then you hit that moment where something takes longer than you thought it would. Which are, of course, that's the words I'm not allowed to use anymore. Yeah. So, yesterday, my project was building the front page for the newly acquired intentionalacademy.com. That's right, we've got that now. It's coming soon. Mm-hmm. Justin has a sample to display for you. So stand by and he'll pull that up. And here's my plan. I wanted to make a link to a page that has our little manifesto on it. I wanted to write links only, not even the pages yet, to 3 pages that we're going to cover our main themes, which are time, money, and career. Wanted to give on the homepage some information about the live show that you're watching right now, and then give you some links on how to find us on social media. And this right here is how far I got.
Oh, looks good.
Well, thanks. It took me 4 hours. I battled with layouts. I battled with custom HTML and CSS to make sure that when you change the size of the window, it looks good and that it would display well on a mobile device, which it doesn't. I spent the entire day geeking out over web design, somehow magically thinking that I was going to be able to will myself into knowing what I was doing in a short period of time. So Justin has a second picture to show you. This is a free template that I could have used. It's not exactly the same, but all of the information that I wanted on the first page is there. And the difference is I could have put my information into this in about 20 minutes and have been done with it. Oh, and by the way, it does scale beautifully for mobile and things like that. What's the point? The point is that there are times to double down on effort, and there are times to let some other well-meaning nerd handle the details for you. The intention... What's that?
Delegation.
It's crucial. The Intentional Academy is not a website. You don't care about my website.
Well, I hope they care about it a little bit.
No. They care about the ideas. They care about the ideas, the content that can change the way that they approach life. And I believe that we add value when we spend our time developing that content and the products that are going to go with it. So some things that I know about me. I make really good classes. I'm getting good at writing books, not counting my dissertation. And I'm working on a journal right now to help college students build their careers 15 minutes a day instead of this mad rush right when it's time to go hunting for internships and things like that. And people want that stuff from us. They don't want a website that happens to be the best one out there. For us, that's fluff.
Mm-hmm. Which isn't even scaled properly, apparently.
So even after all that effort. And the problem is that 4 hours on that journal and it'd be done. That thing would be a PDF. You could go get it right now. And instead, we have a website in draft mode. I think the point that I'm trying to make here is that this intentional journey thing, it never ends, and you never reach a point where you're not going to be distracted. But what this has to do with you is that we all do this to ourselves in the micro every day. Have you ever spent more time formatting a document than actually writing quality content? Or tinkered with making your slideshow pop when you didn't even have good results to present yet?
Oh yeah,
You
we
ever-
have custom formats. I work for the government, so we have quad charts and specific
Oh, yeah.
slides and specific things you have to do and specific language that has to be in it, and you have to make sure that it's done properly. And a lot of times, the higher up, the captain or somebody like, will shoot it right back if it doesn't look right. It could have all the information needed, but if it doesn't look right, they'll shoot it right back.
Right.
Yeah, I've also spent a lot of time in college. I remember, like, editing a document to realize that I wasn't done. Have you ever done that where you're like making it look perfect and you're like, dang it,
It's
I
not
left
even
out
done.
such and such, and then you have
Right.
to redo it all over again because the margins don't fit, and
My favorite was I would spend hours and hours and hours going through the library trying to collect every single book they had on a topic that might relate to the thing that I'm working on. I spent 4 hours picking up books as though I was going to have time to read more than 3 of them. It's like, grab 3, read them, move on,
yeah.
right? I once spent an hour making a beautiful cover page to a report that was filled with garbage.
Oh yeah, I remember my Sundays with my lab reports and worrying about format and how all my graphs and charts looked and everything.
Right. Now, to be fair, they were grading us pretty harsh on that at the time, but
they were.
But the content actually matters, and when you get down to it, as a student, it's really easy to get caught up in the make it pretty part of this. I think it's a form of procrastination when you don't want to do the hard work.
Yeah, well, it's easy to format. It's not easy to write the
Right.
paper.
I can click buttons
Yeah.
and make it look pretty all day. Sitting down with a plain text editor and writing something worth reading, whew, it's just you and that white screen, you know?
Yep.
And so I think especially this time of year where everybody's a little strained, everybody's a little freaked,
Everything at the same time.
right? You're faced with 17 big jobs because we actually do coordinate as faculty and make sure that all your projects are due the same week. We do that.
And then finals a week later.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think the answer here is that when you're faced with a big job, it's great to double down. It's great to work hard, hustle, get it done. But do that intentionally by doubling down on the meat, not the surface level stuff, because I just wasted 4 hours. Okay, I wasted 3 hours and 40 minutes, right? That could have been doing something really useful, and instead I was dragging and dropping and arguing with CSS. So that was kind of my idea for today is, focus in on the thing that really matters and let this skin deep stuff, let it just go.
And what you learn as a professional is that time is money. So basically, let's say Tony bills out at a overhead level of $150 an hour, and he just spent 4 hours not working on actual work and fiddling with things that he could have, paid somebody else to do while he was actually, making the next sale or making that next big decision or coming up with that next big idea. So how much is it worth to go ahead and let somebody do it better and faster?
Yeah.
Same reason why I don't renovate my own house.
Sure. Other places where this shows up, my dad's formula for whether or not you drive or buy a plane ticket is take your hourly rate and see if you could pay yourself to drive there.
That's a good point.
I thought so.
I wouldn't have considered that.
I never thought about it that way because usually I'm worried
Yeah.
about how much it costs.
Right. So, Justin has news.
Justin?
Oh, I have pretty good news. I have finished paying off my student loans.
That's the yell that you
Zero.
get
I'm
right now.
expecting a letter in the mail from the company saying you now owe us $0.
Oh,
So,
man.
And then you're going to frame that.
No, I'm just going to go to the next debt on the list of the snowball and keep rolling until it's all gone and I'm cash only and I have a FICO score of 0. So,
Unbelievable.
Still, that's a huge accomplishment.
but yeah, it's another notch on the pole there and ready to head on to the next one.
All
Actually,
right.
I think next month we're going to be able to knock out the next 2 because of how we get paid. We get paid bi-weekly, so we get 26 paychecks instead of
Ooh, I love that extra
Oh, cool.
paycheck.
a month. That extra paycheck is going straight to debt.
Nice.
Awesome.
Not forever, man. Back up a
not
little
forever.
bit. Tell us the story, okay? You graduate in 2008.
Graduate in 2008. Start 6 months later, paying about. All right. We'll preface this well with. I was lucky. My father paid for my room and board, or when I was in an apartment, and he helped me with food and he helped me with books. So what I was responsible for was my education. With that, I got federal student loans, and I did get some just straight up money. Virginia just gave me money because I'm a Virginia resident and I fell in a certain bracket. So I was able to take some of that grants, but I think all told it was $22,000 in loans, and then it's taken me, I wasn't really intentional about it until recently, so it's taken me the course of 9 years. But over that time, it accrued. Here's a lesson for you. It accrued about $8,000 in interest, so I've spent about $29,000 total.
That's
it's gone.
huge. Wow.
No more.
That's awesome.
Sally Mae has been given the boot.
Have you seen the music video?
The music video.
Yeah, remind me to put a link to it
my
in the
gosh.
show notes. There's a guy
No,
that
you
made
would know what he's talking
he came up
about.
with a rap, and he uses paying Sally Mae back, and he rhymes that with a Maybach and like the car. Oh, it's good.
Sally Mae. It's
that
really
sounds
good. It's really good.
Links in the notes. We'll find it and put it up there for you.
But yeah,
Now it's stuck in my head.
Another step in our debt elimination journey.
Feels good, doesn't it, man?
Man, I wish we were like on a real radio show. I could just like pull it up and go, doot, start playing it.
Someday.
Sally Mae.
Eventually, we'll get there.
Yeah. Man, Justin, that's so exciting. Good job, you guys. Good job.
And then whenever anybody calls in and pays off a student loan,
Just play it.
I'll
for
play
'em.
that song.
Oh yeah, we'll have the clip. We'll have something like bust out on the screen and pop up.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
All right, so
So what do you think? Should we do some questions?
yeah, I guess I had one more for you there. You guys had a bit of an experience with this. I mean, some of it, I think you said, well, you had your master's covered
Yes.
or supported. I forget the fancy
Yes.
verbiage you have to use for that.
Yes. The federal government did not pay for my education. They facilitated my learning.
Right.
That's what.
There's a difference.
Okay.
Is there but none of that's in what we're talking about right now.
No.
What about any of these like loan forgiveness programs or anything? Do you have any experience with that?
Yes, actually, my wife, the federal government offered her. I don't know why I didn't get offered it, but they've offered her a $10,000 loan forgiveness for signing on a guarantee for 2 years of work. So she had to say that I will work for you for 2 years, and they'll give her $10,000. The weird thing about that is the federal government then taxed that $10,000, so it turned out to be about $6,000.
There's some fine
So the
print
federal
for you.
government, the federal government took tax dollars and taxed them. But with that aside, yes, my wife was able to get $6,000 of her student loans taken care of, the federal ones,
Okay.
taken care of with a loan forgiveness. So it just depends. They offered it to her again, but I think they offered her $2,000 for like 3 years, and there was no way we were signing on for another 3 years like that.
Wild.
Something to consider though, if you do find a job that you think you might stay in for,
It is. Or if you have a tremendous amount of debt and they're willing to pay a tremendous chunk of it, it might be worth sort of just
doing that
chugging through.
Right. It's an effective raise at one point,
It really is.
I think
It really
that-
is.
I think
mean,
that-
in your situation, I mean, you had a hefty monthly payment. Think if somebody was helping, take a chunk of that away,
Yeah. The problem is that the only one I qualified for, because I'm state employee, so I qualify for one of them, but it's the 10-year plan.
Yeah, which
And that's a long time.
My loan, I was structured to where my minimum payment paid it off in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's not really doing
So,
anything.
no, I wouldn't have anything to forgive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And with that, you have to make sure that you're making your payments.
Right.
So it's not like I could have just skipped payments and accrued it and then done it. Like,
I think that the better win is the feeling that you're getting right now. I mean, you just leaned in and did it.
Why do you want to pay payments for 10 years? Think about what your income that you're missing can do for you in 10 years, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
That's not where you want it sitting, having to go to that.
No, you want your money working for you.
Yep.
Interest goes both ways, right? Get it in the good one.
Exactly.
Yep.
Hey, Justin,
can look up just the miracle of compound interest.
Right.
It's incredible.
So I guess we'll pat ourselves on the back here, right? Because we're all the founders of the Intentional Academy here. But on behalf of the Intentional Academy, congratulations!
Oh.
All right.
Oh man!
See, it's a process, everybody. It's not just us preaching; it's a practice.
Real life.
Absolutely.
It is real life.
It's not easy.
Nope. And we're only a few months behind you, but we'll be there soon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll probably end up about on the same time frame
for total.
Yeah.
For total.
And between now and then, we're gonna have to figure out how to buy the rights to that song.
Or have to make some money instead of paying off debt.
Questions?
Yeah, let's go through some questions.
Let's do some questions.
Right on.
All right. So, first question is, how did you choose your college major? Did you take personality test? Did you choose the college first and then choose a major offered by that college, or vice versa? Did you choose the type of job first and then see what your major needed to get that job?
So much rich conversation here because we all have a completely different story.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one of us is completely different.
So let's tell all of them. I don't know who wants to go first.
Tony goes first. Yours is the most exciting.
I don't know about that. All right, so I actually went to college. My first major was philosophy.
And so how did you choose your major?
Yeah, so
that's what the question is.
Sure. I think first off, I chose it based on a career that I thought I wanted.
Okay.
I thought I was going to go into full-time ministry at the time. And first I had to go to a quote-unquote real school before I could go to grad school for ministry. And I picked a big school. And that'll get to part of my answer later, I guess. But
sure.
The bottom line is I picked that major because I thought it was the one that was the most translatable. Turned out, I think therefore where I am just doesn't work for me. So I thought a second best would be to major in something that would be good, make me good at public speaking because, well, they have to do that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I switched into communications. That's right, get an entire college degree just on giving speeches. That's what I thought communications was. First off, it's not.
No.
That's like one class, freshman year. Had an amazing experience.
Class.
Yeah.
One class.
Right?
Yeah.
Communication skills, man. That was a good course, though. I actually did enjoy that.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoyed all of it. For a while, I thought maybe I'd actually switch and become a journalist. That was part of that major. I thought that talking to people and writing and all of that was really cool. But then two things happened. Spring of my freshman year now, so communication major, spring freshman year, almost done with my first whole year of college. And my Jeep broke down. 1990 Jeep Wrangler, and I didn't go to college so recent that that's like an ancient car, but it definitely wasn't new. And we weren't allowed to work on them in the dorm parking lot. So me and my buddies, we were out there under that Jeep with flashlights in the middle of the night trying not to get caught fixing this Jeep. And that same week, a group of guys came down the hall in my dorm with this metal thing they had made, and it was nothing real. It was just this widget, this goofy thing. And I just said, yeah, no, what'd you do that for? And it was for this manufacturing class that you had to take as an engineering major. And somehow, being interested in fixing my Jeep, plus that, it just all clicked, and I was like, this is what I'm going to do.
Not at all related to public speaking.
Not quite.
Or...
Well, you had some high school background in math and science, though.
Yeah, but to be fair, my goal in college was to not be one of the 90 people that I graduated with that went straight to engineering.
Understood.
I was in a 100-person class, and something like 90 of them went straight to STEM, anyhow. And I was beat up, man. I had just had a terrible ride trying to survive calculus my senior year of high school. It just wasn't for me at the time. And so, what do you take from all of this? I think I didn't know what I wanted. I tried a lot of things, half based on the job that I thought I might have when I was done, half based on the fact that some of the classes just sounded interesting. And I think the big relief is that I went to a school that had a lot of options. And I think that the less sure you are, the more there's a case to go somewhere that has so many different majors that you can change your mind.
It's a great segue for me. Unless you have more to say.
No, take it away.
So, I didn't have a major at first. I was undeclared. But I chose the school because it was large and it had a lot of options, which is exactly what you're saying. Because I kind of had that thought, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I had a couple of different interests and figured, well, I'll go somewhere that has a lot of options so that I can decide and change my mind once I lean in and try and figure out what it is I want to do. Definitely didn't think about the job and then, what major would require it. But I wouldn't call it a mistake, but I definitely shied away from something that I think I would have really enjoyed for fear of not having a job. I wanted to do psychology at first, and I thought it's like a joke. It's like a running joke that everybody has a psychology degree when they're not really sure what they want to do. But I actually wanted to consider being a psychologist and thought that it would be difficult to get into, and it just immediately turned me off, and I just didn't even try to go that route, because I wasn't sure about what jobs were offered. And I think that's a big mistake. I think if you have an interest, you should follow it, and the jobs will come. And Tony's story is a really good example about bouncing around, and then you're an engineer, but you're really a teacher. So, even still, engineer at heart, but teacher.
Right.
Kind of came up along the way there too. So,
was there any fear for you about switching around in your majors and things and what that might do to how long it would take you to graduate?
I definitely had that fear, for sure, because I could have done psychology to see and then switched later. But I felt like freshman year was my only year to stay undeclared and explore by taking a bunch of electives, but then having to decide by sophomore year. Because if I don't decide by sophomore year, then there's all these prerequisites, and if you don't take them, then you're going to be behind. And I don't know if I was feeling rushed or just it's expected. I feel like my counselor even said, you really need to pick a major, and I feel at some point you sort of have to because of the way the classes are. Like, you can't not take classes, and there's only a finite number of courses that you can take. Even when you're in major, you can't always take a class unless you're actually in the major. Yeah. So even if I was interested in an engineering course, I couldn't just go take it if that wasn't my major or my minor. So that, I think, adds to the pressure.
What about the some emotional aspects of it? What you're going, so like maybe say fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
You are leaving, going to a massive university that's approximately 7 or 8 hours away from home. I personally know that you are 100% family oriented, and you are probably for the first time moving a fair distance away from them.
Yeah.
And you are about to make big decisions for the rest of your life. Yep. How did that affect your decision?
The first semester, I almost transferred to a university that my best friend was going to. For that reason, it was closer to home. But I wanted to get away from home personally. Not my family necessarily. I love my family, but I wanted to venture out, be my own person. But I had considered transferring just to be around people I knew because, you know, new place, didn't know anybody, didn't know what I wanted to do. It feels like, and don't let anybody tell you differently, it feels like everyone knows what they're doing. Nobody knows what they're doing.
No.
Nobody.
No.
There's like
maybe
maybe one person when they were 5 said they wanted to be a doctor and then actually became a doctor. But that's like never gonna happen.
That's a great segue into my story.
All right, Justin.
So, on a completely different spectrum, I am of the understanding that there is only one university, and that is Virginia Tech. I'm not afraid to say it. I had been, up until a few years ago, once I started a family and the logistics became a little more difficult, I had been to at least one home football game, and then every home football game during my school year, during school, but at least one home football game from conception. So I had about a 30-year run where I was always going to Virginia Tech football games. So I knew that there was only one university. I was going to Virginia Tech. That being said, I remember to the day when I decided I wanted to be a mechanical engineer, and I went home, and my mother will corroborate the story. I said, "Mom, I'm going to go to Virginia Tech. I'm going to be a mechanical engineer." 6th grade.
What?
I was
6th
sitting
grade?
in history class. 6th grade.
So you're that crazy person.
I am weird. I'm weird. And I'm even weirder to the fact that I got a degree in mechanical engineering, and then I did a job in mechanical engineering, and I still use my mechanical engineering to this day, along with my master's degree in systems engineering. So I'm one of the ones that has stuck with it. Now I've got, I'm working the Intentional Academy too, which, I feel like we have a good blend of perspectives to help you guys make the decisions that you need to succeed. So
what was it in 6th grade? I need to know that you just decided.
I was really good at math. I was really good at science. I knew my dad had an associate's degree in electrical engineering, so I knew what engineering was.
Okay.
STEM, at that point, that word didn't exist. I just stayed interested in math. I took technical drawing through high school, so I learned hand drafting, which was an incredible skill to learn, and it's dying. Actual hand, pencil, and paper drafting is it's a dying art. But I've always been into, the widget that Tony was talking about. I was learning how to draft that on paper and make the plans for the person who used to make that in high school. Like, it was, I don't know, I've always had that sort of mindset. We both, Tony and I both, we focused in our mechanical engineering degrees on jet engines. And I entered a field where I was a jet engine engineer for 6 years with the federal government before switching over to weapon systems. And,
That's pretty cool.
I guess I'm an anomaly that I stuck with it all the way through. I never had a doubt. I never wavered.
I think that's really amazing, and I love the makeup of our little group here because it shows the whole spectrum. I changed majors technically I changed majors 4 times if you count going from communications to general engineering, general to mechanical. And then the irony of it is that eventually I ended up getting a doctorate in philosophy. That's what PhD stands for, by the way. The point, though, I guess, the neat takeaway is just there's no right answer.
Nope.
And that's okay. Life's messy. I don't really care how old you are. If you're in school, you still have lots of time. And even if it does cost you an extra year, life goes on. I know 2/3 of the people on this particular call took extra time to finish. It
5
was
years.
fine. Life's fine.
Yeah.
They didn't arrest us for it either. It was crazy.
But what we didn't do was we didn't quit.
No.
I can't tell you the number of people that I know who are afraid of switching, but then they end up doing it again later. It's like it actually wastes more time because they were afraid to switch in the first place.
Yep.
And then
And money.
Yeah, time, money.
It's an expensive,
Yeah.
expensive choice. I did want to real quick hit the personality test thing.
Oh yeah, they said. Did you? I did not take a personality test.
Yeah, I didn't take one. Justin?
I did not take one.
I think that
I still haven't taken one.
Right. Well, I think that personality tests are really good at telling you how you like to work, but not necessarily what you're good at working on or what you should work on. So, there's these personality tests, and it's like, well, this person's a natural leader. Don't put them under another strong-headed person, and those kinds of things that HR uses that are really effective tools. I think there's aptitude tests that tell people things that they're good at, but the whole point of college isn't just to do what you're good at. It's to do what has your attention. You can become good at many things, but you only have a passion for a couple. So go after one of those.
All right, let's do the next question. So, question is, internships are a requirement to graduate at my college, and I've been told by a senior in my major that our advising department doesn't help at all. How do I begin to find an internship? How do I build my resume to be accepted for this internship when I haven't done anything extraordinary? I'm a sophomore.
Well, first off, you have done one thing extraordinary. You've used the word extraordinary. If you're, I'm just saying. I mean, who uses that doesn't have good vocabulary? So you're probably a pretty good communicator. There's something to that. I think this is fantastic. I wish every school required this.
That's what I thought.
I think the hunt is half of what you need to practice. So get support, great. But if it's not great, that's okay. So you're early in your academic.
Oh my gosh. Getting interview experience is incredible.
Yeah, go out and fail a couple times. Find out how that feels and then figure out what not to do. If you're early in your academic career, I say so what? Everybody's so focused on finishing classes. Everybody's waiting to get permission to go make things. Just go do it. It doesn't matter what field you're in. You can do this immediately. It's free and it's a lot of fun. Go write a blog right now. Find an article in your major and just respond to it. I think this is just something that instantly gives you two huge benefits. The first is it lets you try your field before you buy it. Are you actually going to work as a jet engine engineer? Well, no. But you're testing it out. You're thinking about it. You're seeing what people that do that for a living do. Which brings up the second real quick one, sorry, and then I'll let you go.
No, it's fine.
Is just when you blog, even in engineering, ask my students and make them do it, and they love it. You're practicing the language that you need to speak in an interview. You're learning how to talk about the field like you know what you're talking about, which doesn't happen just doing your homework. And doesn't happen if you're not tuned into the current events and things. This isn't a thing that takes 7 years and a whole bunch of effort and a whole bunch of time to do, but give it a half hour a week and watch what happens.
Yeah. Maybe shout it out on your resume or drop a line during an interview saying, hey, you really want to know more about what I've been thinking? Check out my blog at Medium, at the Tony Farrar.
Yeah, and that's an easy way to start something, to put something on there, to show who you are. I think that also when you are applying to these internships or hunting for them, they're going to see that you're a sophomore. They're not going to expect you to have a 4-year degree and 3 jobs under your belt. I mean, they're going to understand that that's part of where you are in your life and in your career. But things like the blog and being involved in your field in some way, will show initiative and get you talking about things so that when you do go looking for these internships, and some places, again, create your own job. Say, hey, I'll work for free, because most of them are. I mean, if you get a paid one, that'd be awesome. But, sometimes you have to work for free, and you can say, I want to work for you. This company seems like,
absolutely.
Something I'd be interested in.
And a lot of people that do that, they show up and they add value and end up getting paid pretty quick. Second big idea here. I'm big on social. Find the 100 best people, companies, whatever, in the world, in your industry, in your field, and follow them immediately. That's like checklist number 1. Can you even name who the best person in the world is at the thing you do? Find them, follow them, read what they post, and then comment on it. This is a new game that I'm playing, by the way.
Okay.
Comment on whatever platform they're on. Do a comment in an unusual way. You go look at a celebrity. Pick any celebrity. Go to Twitter right now and look at a celebrity. They post something and they get 45,000 replies. Mm-hmm. They're not able to fish through that. But everybody on Twitter is replying with a text comment. Twitter lets you make video comments now. Guess how many people do that on a big famous person's post?
7.
Yeah, right? And all of a sudden you got noticed above the noise. And so this is a new game I'm playing. You know where the videos for the Intentional Academy are playing the most popular right now? Mm-hmm. LinkedIn.
Because nobody uses videos on LinkedIn.
Nobody's doing videos on LinkedIn. It's like a week old. They just let you start posting videos. Huh. I just went boom, boom, boom. Every one of those videos gets twice as many hits as that same video on YouTube and Facebook combined.
Wow.
Just because nobody sees videos. So if you're scrolling through your feed on LinkedIn and you see a video, you actually stop and watch it. Mm-hmm. So the point here is this is how you build your network now. You do something interesting that gets you noticed. And it's not all that hard to do because everybody's just feeding you the information. All you have to do is respond to it.
Mm-hmm.
So here's some other ideas, and it doesn't necessarily have to translate to technical or STEM or engineering. A lot of universities operate on research funding. So a lot of professors do research, and a lot of those professors need research assistants. So you can get experience. You could attempt to become one of their research assistants and get technical career help that way. You could leverage family members.
Wait, Justin, I'm going to interrupt you.
As a bookkeeper.
Let me interrupt you for half a second. I'll let you go back to that.
Yeah. Okay.
Everybody on this team did undergraduate research.
Yep.
2 engineers and a comm major.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to put that in there for you.
Yes. Before I skip off of that, another thing is that a lot of businesses give money to do research. So a lot of those professors have contacts with private industry that could potentially, hand your resume over or point you in that direction to deliver it. I leveraged my mother was a bookkeeper for an engineering firm, and I said, "Hey, here's my resume. You think you can drop it on the president's desk?" She did, and I got an internship. Doesn't mean that it was automatic. I had to be interviewed, but it was a funnel. Mm-hmm. What else? I got an internship because I had my resume on a internal university resume pool, and I got a cold call, and I got an interview. And out of an interview, I got an internship. And then another way I got an internship was fairs. A lot of universities do job fairs. A lot of those job fairs aren't necessarily for full-time jobs or postgraduate jobs. So I was able to snag an internship at a local engineering firm or local manufacturing company. Actually, Nicole worked there too. Doing process engineering for one of their production lines. So there's lots of funnels. A lot of big universities have career help, career services. Obviously, you said that they really the advising department, which I mean, your advisors do a lot of academic stuff and have a lot on their plate, helping students, fulfill academic requirements. But a lot of big universities do have career centers and career services as well. That's where I dropped my resume for one of them. So.
I think a big takeaway here that I think this person's concerned with, because I know I felt that way though, was not having anything to offer when they do try. Because, I mean, you can just Google, internships. Might not be the best method, but it's one of them. And I think the important thing to take away is what Tony was saying, which is to put yourself out there in a way that you can add to your resume and talk in your field so that you feel like you have something to contribute. Instead of just walking up with literally your GPA and these are the 5 classes I've taken, because that's intimidating to try and sell yourself to someone and say,
Say you're an English major. You didn't just take, English lit. You also wrote amazing papers that you can reference. You can say, here's some examples of my work, if you want to intern at an editing company.
Examples, or, that's a good...
Yeah, or projects you did in your engineering class that you can show... plans for or pictures of or video of how it worked or
And don't be
you
afraid
do
to
work
add
inside
personal.
of your classes. So you have your grade, you have the experience of the information you learn, but you've also got physical things that you produce to turn in to get those grades that you can use as examples of your work ethic.
Yeah, which, by the way, goes right back to the real reason you should try hard on your homework and projects.
Absolutely.
They're free internships with a subject matter expert who will tell you if you're doing it right.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
And this was something that one of my old bosses taught me, and that stuck with me forever. Keep all your kudos. Keep all your kudos. So when you get a note, an email, anything that shows positive, anything. I used to get emails from customers, my boss, like, good job on such and such. You save that and collect it. Save emails, save papers. I printed out like a 5-page kudos sheet and attached it to my resume when I was applying for jobs. And the people that I was interviewing with thought that was really cool to see other people's credentials. I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? Mm-hmm. Like reviews, basically. I had like my own set of Yelp reviews on myself. You know?
Yep.
So, funny technical glitch, and we live in the real world, and I was just, somebody commented on it. I never unmuted my mic in Discord, so the entire podcast is now just me mouthing.
Awesome.
No.
Well, I'm recording the audio live over here, and I hear you just fine. So we'll figure out how to dub that for the posted video.
That's why we have multiple sources. Okay. Funny glitch every week.
Right, love it.
Can we add subtitles to here?
Yeah.
We'll get
this
that
is going to be
rolling.
really fun, Justin, because you just became a spaghetti western. If you don't know what that is, you've got homework. I think we should answer one more.
Okay.
Number 4 is a quick kill, and then we'll wrap up because we've been going a little while here.
Yeah.
I could just do this all night. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Before you ask that question, the last thing that I wanted to say on the internship thing is no matter what you do based on everything we just said, the only thing that won't work is doing nothing. Do something. Mm-hmm. It's better to fail because then you learn and you move and you fix it and you do better.
Awesome. What's the fourth one?
The fourth question is, I have a problem focusing on my schoolwork for long periods of time. Are there any changes I can make in my daily habits routine to counteract the decreasing amount of focus?
Love this question because it's super tactical. Really good, me, at disappearing into the clouds with these lofty ideas and thinking up in that space all the time. Tactical question, tactical answer. Stop trying to focus for long periods of time. Your brain's not built for it, your body's not built for it, so just don't do it. There's a trick that everybody uses nowadays called the Pomodoro technique, and this is a thing where you schedule a block of time that you're going to work hard, and then you schedule a break that you enforce that you're actually going to take. So as you lose energy, you adjust that. Maybe it starts when you're high energy, you do 50 minutes of work, 5-0, and then take a 10-minute break. And when that timer goes off, stop. Take the break, and then when the 10 minutes is up, go back to work. And what happens is your brain rewires itself, and it thinks, I can dig deep for 50 minutes and then take a break. When that stops working, switch it to 40-20s. By the time I finished my dissertation, I was doing 20-10. I was working 20 minutes focused, taking a 10-minute break, and I went through that cycle twice an hour. I did 4 hours in the morning, took a lunch break for an hour off altogether, and then did another 4 hours. So that's an 8-hour day of intense writing. But you're getting those breaks really regularly.
I think something else is to recognize yourself and what you can handle. I was able to switch subjects. That helped a lot, to step away from a particular topic and bounce to something else. That might drive some people crazy. I don't think that would work for you at all. But, I would do something for English, and then I would do something for math. In not miniature breaks, but smaller chunks. But in this question, they say, counteract the decreasing amount of focus. I think they'll be able to recognize when they start to lose focus, and acknowledging that and and doing that,
Yeah.
on-off kind of thing.
If you're a student, full-time student at a university, a lot of times you have downtime between classes, and it's not significant amounts of downtime. So maybe you can get real intense during the 40 minutes between, your first class and your second class, and knocks out some of your work then as well, so you don't have to spend 7 hours straight trying to cram.
Right.
And also following that particular class. If I was doing work for a class that I just took, like if you have a break in between, so you're already kind of in that mindset. When I took my communications law class, if I worked immediately afterwards on that particular subject, still fresh in my mind.
Right. Yeah, so that's something else for me. Figure out how to pivot your attention a little bit more to do these quick stings rather than these long blocks. Everybody puts off their homework until they get home for the day, and then you're up until the middle of the night doing homework when your energy and your focus are automatically going to be lower. You get tired, whether you like it or not, and energy drinks aren't going to fix that. Nope. And so the best thing that you could possibly do is get out of class, do your homework, and then take the night off and relax. See if you can start getting in that mood.
Yep. Treat being a full-time student like a full-time job. Get up at the same time every morning. If you don't have a class until 10 but you get up at 7, spend an hour working on something, or take 30 minutes and read a nonfiction book, or listen to a podcast, or just something to help you just ease into it, but keeping your time intentional.
Having a plan is so important, and I know this is the case for me in anything I do. If I need to clean my house, I have to actually tell myself, tomorrow I'm cleaning the house. If I just got home and hadn't had a plan to do that, I would look around and go, I don't know.
I'm one of those people that I found I would worry. So I could never go to bed saying, man, I needed to get that homework done, and now I have to wake up at 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. or early to get that homework done before class. And doing that, I would clock watch at night, and I wouldn't really sleep. So I was trading sleep for doing it later. So
yeah, but having a plan for me, like saying I was going to do something, kind of mentally pre-gears me up to do it. And then it's just in your head. Okay, that's when I'm doing that. That was
so helpful. Work in small bursts, schedule it ahead of time, and above all, figure out how to take a real break.
Yep, I already pretty much have my Thanksgiving prep.
Me too.
On a checklist, and I've already started, and I have things I need to do tomorrow. I need to get done, and then
did you get your turkey out
tomorrow night? I'll be ready, and for Thursday morning, I know exactly what I need to do and need to execute.
Did you get that turkey out so that it can thaw in time to not explode the fryer?
My turkey was pulled out on Sunday, and it is almost completely thawed for the brine tomorrow, which I made the brine tonight.
All right, number one thing you're most excited about making tomorrow, or when you're making it for Thanksgiving?
Ham. Oh my goodness, my ham.
Ham? Okay.
Well, I only make cranberries, so I guess I'm excited about the cranberries that I'm going to make.
Oh, Tony and his cranberry sauce.
It's the hardest part of Thanksgiving. Everybody picks on me. I'm the only one that's gotten it right every year since elementary school. You just remember
that. My family doesn't want that. My family wants the gelatinous can where it comes out in the form of the can with the ridges.
That's just because I've never had mine. I can put the ridges in it if they want.
Well, I'm making a pumpkin cheesecake, so cry your heart out, Justin.
Oh, my goodness.
So,
my wife went to a local bakery and picked up our pies, so we're taking a shortcut there.
As always, we would like to say thank you for tuning in. If this has been valuable for you, if this has been meaningful, hit that like button, hit that share button. That's how we live right now. Most important, leave a comment, ask us a question, and we'll answer yours instead of somebody else's. We'd love to see you on social media. We're everywhere. Come see us, have a conversation, and most importantly, sometime today, go do something on purpose. Thanks, everybody, and have a great night.
Yep, we're going to work on redubbing the audio over the
Yeah.
video and getting that posted to YouTube. So if you want to see this properly, go on, hop over to our YouTube and subscribe while you're there.
We'll have the real video, and then we'll have the
Spaghetti
No,
Western.
Spaghetti Western.
I'm not going to post the non-audio video. I'll post the video when we sync it up. So,
Mhm.
all right.
Good night, everybody.
Sounds
Good night.
Have a good night.